Hello everyone and welcome back for another edition of 8 Minutes with Aaron. I am of course your host Aaron, and today, or tonight, we are talking about WWE Smackdown. And let's get rolling because we don't have a lot of time on this fresh edition of 8 Minutes with Aaron. Before I begin with SmackDown, let's just take a minute and say what the hell was with the production tonight. I had tons of blackouts on my screen during the whole production, and the sound even cut out once or twice. I noticed it during Logan Paul's segments, I noticed it during the Soa Sokoa segments, and the Bloodline later on during the show. I don't know what was going on, not a huge fan. So let's just jump into it. We started off with Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and of course the WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes, facing off against Solo Sikoa, the Tonga, and the Aloha. They were all fighting on top of the stage. They rolled into the ring. They're at Madison Square Garden nonetheless. And they're like, let's just fight tonight. Screw it. Let's not wait till next Saturday. Let's do it here right now. Nick Aldis came out, was like, dude, come on guys, get the hell out of the ring. He sent in some flunkies. The flunkies got beat up. And then out came the New York, police officers, and all of a sudden they just left. They're not going to hit a police officer, of course. They were escorted out, and that was the end of them for the night. Kevin Owens took a pretty nasty hit after he hit a splash from like the rafters and shit. So I hope he's okay, but he was like holding his arm, so I hope he didn't like hurt himself or anything like that. The first match started. It was a triple threat match for the women's Money in the Bank between Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Hey, I almost forgot it. The match was pretty lackluster. Of course, Jade Cargill showed her strength and was beating ass. Out came Nia Jax. Nia Jax came into the mix. Out came Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair came out to even the odds, just to make sure that Nia Jax wasn't screwing with anybody. Tiffany Stratton was getting a lot of good offense. Candice LeRae was getting a lot of great offense. Jade Cargill went to the outside, and while Nia Jax and Bianca Belair were arguing, LeRae's friend, I can't remember her name, something Hartwell, Indy Hartwell, pushed Jade Cargill into the steel. She got knocked out, and then Tiffany Stratton pulled off the victory with her flip or something like that. Really nice flip. Tiffany Stratton qualifies to the Money in the Bank for the women's. The next match that we had was for the men's Money in the Bank match, and it was between Logan Paul, LA Knight, and Santos Escobar. I think that was the next match. I could be wrong. There could have been something. If I remember, I'll tell you guys. This match was actually pretty good. LA Knight and Logan Paul always looking good. Santos Escobar is an amazing wrestler as well. They kept commenting how he hasn't won a title, and he's this luchador, and this, that, and the other thing. He's great. A lot of flips. He reminds me of a young me. No, I don't do this flips. Who the hell am I talking about? It reminds me of like Rey Mysterio, or even like Eddie Guerrero and shit like that. To make a long story short, the match came down to these two, I guess, New York sports stars were interfering in the match. One of the guys was going to hit LA Knight with the brass knucks. As this was all happening, Logan Paul's like, oh, what are you doing? Let's go, let's go. Logan Paul wasn't paying attention. LA Knight knocked him out. And then they did some kind of like cool moves, like off the top rope. They did like a back suplex. Logan Paul hit a swanton bomb on the both of them. Got a 2 count on LA Knight. And then at the end, LA Knight hit the BTS on Escobar. And then Logan Paul tried to throw him out of the ring, but LA Knight turned it around, and then Logan Paul got him in a pin. 1, 2, holding the tights nonetheless. LA Knight countered, held his tights. 1, 2, 3, LA Knight proceeded, and he is going to the men's Money in the Bank match. I think Logan Paul's going to screw him out of it. I don't think LA Knight's going to win. I just don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. I even think the Wyatts are going to attack Jey Uso, but we'll do that in a prediction video or some shit like that. Alright, let's see what else. There was another women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. It was between Naomi, Indy Hartwell, and someone else. I knew I was going to forget her name. I think she just came from NXT. The match was, I don't know what to tell you. It seemed very slow paced, like you can expect what was coming. They were waiting for the next move. Naomi was on the corner, and she kind of waited for that other girl, I can't remember her name, to come and do some kind of kick to her. It just didn't flow very well, and the match came down to Jade Cargill came out because Indy Hartwell calls her match, and she's like, I'm going to beat you up, and then she threw her in the ring, or I think she did some kind of move prior to throwing her back into the ring, And then Naomi did a kick to the head into some kind of weird pin and got the 1, 2, 3. So Naomi is going to the Money in the Bank qualifying match. You know, I like Naomi. I have no problem with Naomi. Main event was Solo Sikoa coming down and doing his, you know, bloodline intro. This is the new bloodline. Everybody needs to bow down to acknowledge me and all this other shit. They came down with plenty of time. 15 minutes. 15 minutes, folks. They went into the ring. Everybody acknowledged him. He called Jacob Fatu to the ring, which he told early in the show to Paul Heyman that he wasn't even there. And Paul Heyman was like, good, because he's a monster. Out came Jacob Fatu. He acknowledged Solo Sikoa. And then when it came to Paul Heyman, Paul looked scared shitless. He was like, I can't believe this is happening. And he's like, I need you to pronounce me the head of the table. And he's like, what? He's like, you know, I can't do that. And then he gives Paul, like, the beads, the ceremonial beads, the official beads. And Paul's like, what? Well, like, what the hell? And then Paul's like, Soa, I love you, but I can't do it. And that was it. Paul Heyman is now, hopefully he's not dead, but Paul Heyman got his ass beat. Solo Sikoa punched him. Jacob Fatu did a headbutt off the top rope. And then they threw him outside the ring and they triple powerbombed him into the announcer's desk, which is very reminiscent of the Shield. So that's the whole SmackDown. There could have been a Money in the Bank match between men that I may have forgotten, but that was the whole thing. The best thing about the whole SmackDown program was probably Paul Heyman. His facial expressions, he looked so unshaved and unkempt because he was so scared about Jacob Fatu. This guy knows how to put on a performance. Paul Heyman needs to win the WWE Championship just so I can see him scared every single week about fighting a new person. And then he like weasels his way out. I know, it's stupid and it should never happen. Bloodline thing I'm kind of interested in. Maybe, maybe not. There was some other stuff that did happen during SmackDown. The Street Profits are now going to be in a match against Pretty Deadly, who just apparently came back from somewhere. I didn't even know they were gone. That's how important they are. Then there is a tag team title match I think is happening next week between Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And they had like a little backstage segment where Austin Theory was like, yo, I know you guys are just being douches, trying to tell me, you know, that Grayson Waller don't like me. And they're like, yo, we're telling you the truth, bro. He's going to screw you over somehow. He just likes you because of the titles. And Grayson Waller came out of nowhere, attacked Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano. And Austin Theory was like, yo, what are you doing, dog? Like, what the dog? Wait, come on. Wait, come on. Hey. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. Now, I'm not too excited for next week's SmackDown. This week's SmackDown was not too impressive. So let's get them ups and them downs. So SmackDown overall, since I'm not going to go after each match and give you an up and down, I'm going to have to do the performance of a down. It's a down. Sorry, folks. SmackDown has not impressed me much. My name is Aaron. Thank you for joining me at 8 Minutes with Aaron. I will see you next time when we talk about more things, more stuff, and probably a Funko Pop or more wrestling. I don't know. I'll see you later. Bye.